Thank you so much to Frozenbite for that video. Next up, another French composer. We have Aurélien with Don't Forget Me. It's a jazz punk adventure, and you play as an amnesiac, and you slowly have to dive into people's minds to uncover who you really are. Some pretty funky stuff. Aurélien is now going to talk to you about the game's music. Let's go!
Aurélien Montero, and I'm the composer and sound designer of Don't Forget Me. For people who don't know what this game is, Don't Forget Me is a narrative cyberpunk game where you dive into the memories of your patients, use your own observations to unwrap their minds and uncover a dark conspiracy set to claim dominion over humanity. In this presentation, I'm gonna talk about the audio artistic direction and how I compose the music of this game. The initial idea of the creators was to use only jazz, to create contrast between the neo-noir jazz soundtrack and the cyberpunk universe of this game. But I was thinking it would be more interesting to mix genres, use jazz to anchor the relationship of this world with the past, and use electronic music to symbolize the whole cyberpunk electronic side of this universe. And also mix some punk rock influences with some guitars, drum and bass parts. In the universe of Don't Forget Me, there's some link between digital and analog technology. So my idea was to use analog and digital synthesizers plus some digital effects to create a link between the story of the game and the music. Another of my idea was to mix genres, because Don't Forget Me mixes the influences in a futuristic society. We can expect to have a strong cultural mix, but we don't see much of that. So I think it was important to represent it by the mix between electronic, punk and jazz music. One of the last ideas for this project was to add vocals. Initially I was thinking about one song in French because you know the studio is French, so... But in the end I proposed to the team to add another music with vocals, but this one in English, again to echo the multiculturalism of the universe. So, now that you have the main idea, let's dive into some tracks. Here's an extract of our first music called Ederel. So, this is a theme that is played when the player decides to join the Forgotten, a revolutionary terrorist group. The first part is there to represent the doubt, hence the heavy question that Ederel asks him. Does the player want to join the revolution? If the player says yes, the second part of the music starts. The idea of the second part is to represent all the revolutionary sides through music, the guitar being there to represent the revolutionary commitment of the characters and everything around to symbolize the universe. as if the guitar sounded like a cry of anger in a universe that rejects it. That's also why the guitar glitch symbolizes the digitalization of memories. There's not that much layer on this track because I wanted to keep it as simple as possible, but still keep the mysterious and technological side. Let's take a look at another track, very different, called Je ne peux oublier.
Je serai pris de coups, car le temps est toujours trop court. Je repense à tous ces mots, tous ces remords, tous ces et c'est si trompeur, et ça me fait peur.
In this track, I tried to keep it as simple as possible. A drum, a piano, a double bass, and a voice. The idea was to get as closer as possible to the bar jazz genre. So first I composed a music track that was suitable for it, and then I incorporated lyrics. For the writing of the lyrics, I incorporated a part of Bernard's life. Since it's Bernard's favorite place, I thought it would be interesting to have his own story reflected in the music he can find there, as if the place was a reflection of his soul. And the music being in French, it allows the people who don't speak French to be a bit disoriented and not necessarily to linger on the lyrics. But if you dig a bit, you can potentially learn things, and that's what I thought was interesting. Last but not least, the theme of the main character, Fran. The theme of Fran is very electronic. There's a lot of different layers of synthesizers and that blend together in this kind of vastness that you can feel. Also, since Fran has amnesia, I thought it was interesting to lose the player through her theme. Mixing the atmospheres at the beginning very dynamic, then very soft towards the middle. Also, we don't know much about her in the game, but if you listen to her theme and some other music, you can probably understand her whole story. You just have to listen. So, that's it for the soundtrack. If you want to listen more of it, you can find it on Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, Steam, GOG, and you can also buy the game on Steam and GOG. If you have any question, feel free to contact me at aurelien.montero@gmail.com. See you and have a nice time at Safe and Sound.